Okay, so something weird is going on with schools and child safety, and I really want to hear what you think about it. I've been coming across all these different stories. Teachers calling out the education system, parents finding hidden AirTags in their kids' stuff, even schools literally losing track of children. And it all kind of stopped me in my tracks. I'm not here to push a narrative, I just want you to watch these clips and tell me in the comments, are these just random one-off situations, or is there something bigger happening?
Hello, my name's Morgan. I'm getting my bachelor's in education, and I am outing the public school system for what they are teaching your teachers. If you have children in the public school system, please listen to the things that I am saying and look in my comments because there's hundreds of teachers coming forward saying that I'm correct. Here's another sentence in the book where they might as well have just said conservative liberals. Some traditionalists believe that schools should focus on the basics, the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic, parentheses, although spelling might have been a good addition. Okay, you might as well have just said redneck conservatives, because who says reading, writing, and arithmetic other than old school rednecks, if you will? Okay, here's another sentence. There is always a group, just says a group, but we know which one you're talking about based on that first sentence, that believes schools must focus on graduating loyal Americans, while others see patriotism as educating Americans to question and even challenge their government. Why are all the redneck conservatives the one pulling their kids out of school because they're questioning and challenging their government? Who has the patriotism here? Who has the graduating loyal Americans with proper patriotism? The conservative party you're picking on with the reading, writing, and arithmetic. If this book isn't one-sided to you, you have some self-reflection to be doing. And here's the sentences so no one can say I'm lying, okay? Let me turn it around. There you go. There's the sentences. Did the pleasure of highlighting it for you. Here is the book itself. Do with that what you will. Let me give you the citation if you want the citation. That is the exact citation for what I am reading. This book is so one-sided, and this is what's teaching your future teachers. If you don't want your kids taught this bias BS, take them out of public school, homeschool them, private school them, unschool them, for all I care. But take them out of the public school system because this is wild. If you have a child in the public education system, I need you to listen to me real quick. I am in college right now to get my bachelor's in education, bachelor's in science and education, okay? I'm taking all the classes to become a teacher, to work in a public school system. Tell me why there's a conspiracy theory that schools are indoctrinating children and that schools are teaching skewed versions of history, and the liberals are like, no, that's not true. That couldn't possibly be true. We're still learning about things like the Holocaust and World War I. No, these books literally tell you verbatim, exactly word for word, that is 100% a fact, not a conspiracy. There's a sentence in this book, and I'm not kidding you verbatim. It says, the United States chooses its curriculum based on its own ideologies of history and its own self-interests. Pardon? What? So if you're curious on whether or not the school system is purposefully leaving out certain pieces of history or purposefully teaching things like slavery's only black people and that slaves were only bought by white people, that's wrong. And they're teaching that on purpose so that the kids only have one narrative to go based off of and not actual history. If you're an analytical person like me who wants to research all of this stuff, go for it. But the book that I'm reading is called Teachers, Schools, and Society, and it's for a class that's issues in education. And I think I found the issues with the education, guys. It's laid out right there in front of you. The teachers are the people being indoctrinated and brainwashed to think that we need to teach kids to be socialistic little heroes who only know our versions of history, because the teachers are literally being taught that it is okay to only pick bits and pieces of history to fit our narrative, to fit the propaganda that they currently want to push out. And not for nothing, but I think it's a little crazy that the curriculum we use was owned and operated by Jeffrey Epstein's father-in-law. Just saying, the public school system's failing your kids, take them out, and I'm definitely switching my major because I want nothing to do with these public school systems.
That elementary school principal really told parents to stop sending their kids to school with AirTags on them. Dear parents, please stop sending your kids to school with AirTags on them. We're teachers and we might lose them, but if that happens, we'll let you know. She really said that. You realize the whole point of AirTagging your child is so that if they go missing, they can easily be found. And why does it bother you that parents know where their child is at all times? You should actually be very thankful that that exists, especially because you must not work with the special education department a lot, because there's these students that we call runners, and sometimes they leave the campus. So it's very helpful if we can find out where they are right away without having to worry and sending out staff on this crazy manhunt. Honestly, be so for real.
The original video from that principal was deleted, but the internet saved the receipts.
It has been brought to my attention that the woman who said, "Dear parents, stop tracking your children with AirTags," is not a teacher. She is in fact a principal. Now I have questions about what's happening in that school, because why are you telling parents not to track their children with AirTags? That's suspicious. That's weird. It has also been brought to my attention that the school bus example was a bad example, so let me give you two different examples. My children's old public school lost my kids not once but twice. 2 different times lost my children, okay? First time, lost them. Thankfully, they were with me. They called me 2 hours. 2 hours after I picked my child up from school and said, "Did you happen to come pick up your son today?" And I was like, "Yes, why?" And they're like, "Oh, we just didn't know where he was for the last 2 hours." Do you know how far 2 hours is? If someone else had picked up my child that day, the school my kids were going to is within 2 hours of 2 national airports, Atlanta and Nashville. And you're telling me it took you 2 hours to call me to find out where he was? That is a good example of why my child will be tracked, because it took you 2 hours to call me to see where my child was. Second time, I go to pick up my kid from the bus line. This was my daughter. She was in kindergarten. And they're like, "Oh, pull up front. She's around front." I said, "Okay, no problem. Pull around front." And there's a teacher standing there like she was about to get hit by a bus. Okay, deer in headlights, picture. Okay? She comes up to my car. She goes, "You picked up your daughter at 1 p.m. No, I didn't. What do you mean? "Oh, well, her paper says that someone picked her up at 1. Who? You. No, go look at it again. So she goes, "Oh, my bad. The office said that you picked up your son at 1. I said, "Cool, then where's my daughter?" "Well, we don't know." What the frick do you mean you don't know where my daughter is, okay? So I was like, "Okay, go find out where she is." They come back out. They put her on a bus. What bus? She's never ridden a bus a day in her life. She doesn't ride the bus to school. She doesn't ride the bus home from school. What bus? Well, you're going to have to call the bus garage for that. Me? You call the bus garage. So I leave immediately on the phone, the bus garage, having a panic attack. Which bus? I don't know. Well, what's your address? Maybe we can find out which bus. Finally, they get around to the fact that my daughter was put on the correct bus. Thank God. Because she followed someone that she knew from our apartment complex onto the bus. Thank God my daughter was smart. And with that said, she got off the bus. Side note, had my child got off the bus crying, I would have pulled up to that school and made somebody lose their job. But since she got off the bus happy, I was cool. I was like, okay, as long as she's not panicking, right? You need to track your children. Moral of the story, you need to track your children. And that teacher, principal saying don't track your children, that's very suspicious and very concerning, and she needs to be looked into.
Parents, please stop and listen to this. Please, just listen to this. So I have an Apple AirTag. I know a lot of parents have these things. They put them in child's book bags. They make these insoles for your shoes, where it has like a hidden compartment in it. You can stick them on your jackets, whatever. I have one on my son, and I did not know this. So listen to what I have to say. I'm not sure if I'm the only one that doesn't know it. Maybe I'm just dumb, but my dad picked up my son from daycare to have like a little grandpa day. So I was cool with it. He picked him up from daycare, and I go to pick him up after work, and my dad looks at me and he's like, "Were you tracking me?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What do you mean tracking you?" And he was like, "I got a notification that popped up on my phone and alerted me that the owner of an Apple AirTag was tracking me, and that they could see everywhere I was going, and it like had an option where I could sound an alarm to find the AirTag." What? I was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I have an AirTag in Jackson's shoe, like, because people are around here. And so yes, I have an AirTag in my son's shoe just in case something horrible happens, I can find him." Please tell me why Apple will notify the closest person's phone telling them that they have an Apple AirTag and that the owner of it is tracking them. I get that these things are like designed for like car keys and stuff, or like wallets or cell phones, but I know so many of like parents that do this too. So now you know. If your kid ever goes missing and someone kills them, they will alarm your phone and let the person who's your child know that there is an AirTag and they're being tracked. There's no option to turn it off because I've tried. So I need to find a better option, because that's the last thing as a parent that I want to happen. Because they will find that AirTag, they will do something to my son. It's horrible, the things that go in my head. So I gotta find a new tracking device, I guess. Now you know.
And if that wasn't enough, this next story is on a whole different level. A parent bought a child safety harness on Amazon, and what they found inside is honestly wild.
Hello, I'm making a PSA to anybody who buys children's products on Amazon. I tried making this before, and for reasons I can explain later, I had to take it down, but I am remaking it, hopefully faster this time. Long story short, I purchased a children's safety harness for my son online. It is a way to travel. It's legal in all 50 states, but you don't, like, if you don't want to lug around a car seat or fly with it, you can travel with the safety harness. We kept getting notifications while on vacation that an AirTag was following us, and after some investigation, the AirTag we found was in the safety harness that we purchased off Amazon. I was upset because I said, oh, this means someone obviously has used this before, and I bought this brand new, and there was zero quality control check, considering someone left something in the harness. My husband said, wait a second, the other day I got a text, I thought it was a scam, so I didn't even really read it fully. Let me pull it up. It says, hey Jonathan, I'm reaching out to you because I purchased a children's safety harness on Amazon and I returned it, and my son must have left our AirTag in there. Can you send it back to us? Now I'm even more upset because it's been used, there was no quality control check, and this guy somehow has my husband's phone number. So I took my husband's phone and I texted him back and said, sorry, I thought this was a scam, but how did you get my phone number? The guy said he did a property record search on our house, found out where he lived, found out my husband's name, which is very unique, but that's beside the point, so it probably didn't take much for him to find him, and found his number online and contacted him. My friend was bringing up the point that why is he going through all this effort over a $20 AirTag, which I didn't even think about. So I'm freaking out that this random person knows exactly where we live, knows we have kids because this is a kid's product, knows we're on vacation, seems to know a lot about us, called Amazon after chatting with them, explained the whole story, and I said, I want a replacement harness that is brand new, not used, and I want to be refunded. She said, oh, to get refunded, you need to return it. I said, well, I'm on vacation currently. I just want my money back. She said, let me transfer you over to your manager. I explained the whole thing to the manager, and she proceeds to tell me that this storefront or seller, I forget her exact words, is under investigation for putting AirTags in children's safety harnesses. Now I'm shaking, I'm freaking out. I asked her for a transcript of this call because I thought no one was going to believe me because this sounds insane. What I originally thought was just a wrongdoing from Amazon, that they gave me something that was used and there was zero quality control check, and it's a harness that I wasn't sure if it's been tampered with or not, now is turning into this being like a long con of someone running this scheme of putting AirTags in children's safety harnesses. She said, I need you to destroy the AirTag and the safety belts. They're under investigation. We'll give you a refund. In my head, I'm spiraling, but I'm thinking the best case scenario is that I was sent something that was used. Maybe like another possibility would be it's a money scam because they want us to send the AirTag back and possibly say, oh, I'll send you the money for it. Give us $500. We go to refund it and somehow we're out $500. But the worst case scenario, we are in the worst of times where people are disgusting and gross and there are predators, and I don't even want to speculate. There's bad stuff in this world and they are targeting children's safety products. If you wanted to run this scheme, why aren't you putting it in a backpack and returning it and reaching out to someone saying, hey, I left my AirTag in a backpack? No, they specifically put it in a children's safety product. So I'm not trying to fearmonger, but this is just a PSA and a warning to everybody out there who purchases stuff on Amazon that maybe this is something you should look out for. We did make a police report because everyone in our life said, what if this escalates? What if someone shows up at your door? What if you get a piece of mail? What if they reach out to you on other social media? And made a police report. It's not going to go anywhere. Probably a fake number that reached out to me and probably a fake name. Amazon refunded us the money. Not sure where we're going to go from here, but at the end of this video, because I'm not sure how to work TikTok, I can put the screenshots of the text that we got and the video I recorded of me talking to the Amazon lady after she said she wouldn't give me a transcript of the call. I said, okay, I'm going to record this, and I asked her again, and she blatantly said that they are under investigation for putting AirTags in safety harnesses. So this is my public PSA. And why is the seller under investigation?
Is it the same AirTag?
Because apparently there was the same issue that was reported from our other customer.
AirTag specifically?
About AirTags?
Yes.
Oh God.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Thank you. I want the money refunded immediately.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Yes.
Thank you.
Anything else I can assist you with?
Absolutely not.
Some of these stories are alarming, some are confusing, and some raise questions that don't have easy answers. So tell me in the comments, what do you think is really going on here and what can we do about it? Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next video.